Balatro is a roguelike game where your goal is to score as many points as possible by modifying your deck and buying different jokers. To clear all 8 blinds and complete a run, you can use a wide variety of jokers, but if you are aiming for really high scores, you'll almost always need specific jokers like Blueprint, Brainstorm, Baron, Sock and Baskin, and others. Sometimes it can feel like these just refuse to show up for dozens or even hundreds of rerolls. In today's video, I'll break down how Joker and Spectral card probabilities actually work in the shop, how vouchers affect those probabilities, and what's the expected value of getting the Jokers you are looking for. If you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and let me know in the comment what topics you'd like to see next. Let's start with how Joker generation works in Balatro. Without any vouchers, and on the red deck, the shop has 2 slots that generate items available for purchase. Each slot can roll a Joker, a Terra card, or a Planet card. According to the Balatro wiki, the probability of each outcome is based on weighted distribution, which you can see on the screen. This leads to the following probabilities for each type appearing in a single slot. It is important to note that these slots are independent. Getting a Joker in one slot does not affect the chance of getting a Joker in the other. These weights can be modified by purchasing certain vouchers: Magic Trick, Tarot Merchant, Planet Card Merchant, Tarot Tycoon, and Planet Card Tycoon. Also note that Omen Globe does not change the weights. It works by replacing Tarot cards rather than adding a separate roll for Spectral cards. Here's how the weights change. For this analysis, I didn't include the Magic Trick voucher, since it is basically never picked anyway. When playing on the Ghost deck, an additional weight for Spectral cards is added, which results in the following probabilities. Now that we understand how the weights work, let me show you the probabilities of every item available in the shop. This table works for all decks except of the Ghost deck, and this table works for the Ghost deck. With these probabilities, we can now easily calculate the odds of getting a specific Joker or Spectral card. For most of the calculations in this video, I'll be using the Bernoulli formula from the binomial distribution. If you are interested in how that works, I've explained it in detail in another video. You can find the link in the description. The next tables show the expected value of how many Jokers you'll see in the shop, depending on which vouchers you are using. To calculate the probability of a specific Joker, we first need to look at how Jokers are distributed in the game. It is fairly simple. There are 3 rarity tiers: common, uncommon, and rare. When a Joker is generated, it has a 70% chance to be a common, 25% chance to be uncommon, and 5% chance to be rare. In total, there are 61 common Jokers, 64 uncommon Jokers, and 20 rare. This lets us compute the conditional probability of getting the exact Joker we are looking for. Now, combining everything, the overall chance of a Joker appearing, the rarity distribution, and the ability to increase shop slots with vouchers like Overstock and Overstock Plus, we can calculate the probability of finding a specific rare Joker. One important note about the calculation. In Balatro, unless you have Showman, the same Joker cannot appear multiple times in the shop at once. This slightly increases your chances of finding the Joker you want, because once a rare Joker is generated, it cannot roll again in another slot. However, accounting for this makes the math significantly more complex, while barely affecting the expected value, so I'm ignoring it here. I'm also not accounting for the fact that you might already own some rare Jokers. The probability tables I showed earlier let us estimate how many rerolls you need for an expected value of 1 when targeting a specific rare Joker. Keep in mind, this doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get it. There are still outcomes where it might take thousands of rerolls. When playing on the Ghost deck, getting a specific Spectral card is often just as important. I ran similar calculations for Spectral cards as well, taking into account whether you have 1 or 2 blockers in your consumable slots. The results are shown on the screen. Here are also the tables with the required number of rerolls. Realistically, you are probably not going to use these numbers directly in a run, but hopefully, these probabilities give you a clearer sense of how often the jokers you are looking for actually appear.